Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. Today I want to dive into a topic that we haven't looked at in a little while, but for some reason I just felt called to do it. So, today we're taking a look at a message from an ancestor. So, this could be a loved one who has passed on, perhaps an ancestor from a previous life, the spirit of someone you loved who was in the family, or just someone you loved in general. Um, I'm going to keep it open to whichever spirits, whichever departed souls have a message for you. And we're going to take a look at who they are, what they have to say, and some advice that they have for you today. So, as always, I've gone ahead and pre-shuffled your piles. For pile one, we have a jade crystal. For pile two, we have an opalite moon. And for pile number three, we have an amethyst. So, as always, I'll give you guys some time with these crystals. You can go ahead and see which one calls to you intuitively. You could pick multiple in case you have multiple ancestors you'd like to hear from. And timestamps, as always, are in the video description. If this video resonates and helps you, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment below how this helped, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. And without much further ado, I'll see you at your reading. Pile number one, hello. So if you guys chose the jade, then this is your reading. Welcome. I'm just going to put this guy aside just so we have some space for the cards. So as you can tell, I've gone ahead and shuffled your cards out. With these cards here, we'll take a look at who your ancestor is, who has a message for you today. Here, we'll take a look at what their message is. We have 4 cards and 4 clarifiers. And then finally, with these cards here, we'll take a look at what advice they have for you moving forward. So before we dive in, I just quickly wanted to mention, you guys might be drawn to pile 2 because there might be a message there for you. I haven't read that pile yet, so I don't know what the message is. However, while I was shuffling these cards, I always like to make notes when I'm shuffling about how the cards are acting. And I kept referring to you guys as pile 2 in my head while I was shuffling. So I just want to put that out there that there might be messages for you in the next pile as well. But let's dive into these cards for now. So who is this ancestor who wants to come in for you today? We have the 9 of Swords. And that's clarified by the 9 of Coins in reverse. The archetype here is the King. Okay. So, pile 1, straight away, I'm feeling like this is someone you were afraid of, maybe. Someone who had a sort of authority over you. With the King here, this kind of makes me think of like a father figure, a grandfather, an uncle, someone with a lot of masculine energy who perhaps didn't treat you with the kindness that you deserve, didn't always treat you with gentle gloves. And with this 9 of Swords, this is a card of like fear, of anxiety, of your mind creating scenarios to be afraid of. And so the impact that this person has had on you, it's to the point where now, even though they are departed, you still have fears, irrational fears that come from how they treated you while they were here. This could have been an influential figure while you were growing up, which is why I got like a father, grandfather type image. It could very well be a female person or like a woman or someone feminine, but they might have had very masculine traits. With the 9 of Coins in reverse, this kind of tells me that because of the influence this person had, you might struggle to find independence. You might struggle to, well, either you might struggle to be abundant in like period, abundant in general. But particularly if you want to be abundant on your own, by your, what am I, it's like I'm losing words, you guys. This person may have made you feel like whatever you said was wrong. But what I'm trying to say is this might be the kind of fear that keeps you from standing on your own 2 feet. You might be afraid of taking chances that would lead to abundance, that would lead to success, because there's this underlying fear of, I will never be successful. So this is very much a heavy energy. I'm just going to read the King from the book. This is card number 12. And though I'm not reading reversals, I will tell you what the dark aspect of this energy is. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted so as to avoid corruption. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. When light, benevolence, divine leadership, service, nobility. When dark, oppression, misuse of power, corruption. Yeah, this definitely feels like someone who did not... Well, they were probably someone who was very dutiful. They probably, put food on the table, did everything they were expected to do. However, they were not able to provide you with any sort of emotional nurturing. They weren't able to provide you with warmth and comfort and love. And that is very much an important part of providing for someone. They may, I just got this feeling that they may have thought that was too much to expect from them. That they might have been the kind of person who's like, well, I'm doing all of this for you already. I can't also be soft and be, gentle and loving because that's not my job. So this could be someone who did just enough to make sure you survived, but not enough to make sure that you thrived. All right. So if that's an energy that resonates for you, here is the message that they have for you today. Which I feel a bit of like fear, a bit of anticipation or like anxiety. So let's see what they have to say. We have the Emperor, again, that king energy. And that's clarified by Judgment in reverse. Major Arcana. This was someone who was very influential in your life, Part 1. But with the Emperor energy, I'm definitely getting someone who was head of the family in some way. And with Judgment in reverse, Judgment upright talks about reaping what you sow. And to have that in reverse, it's almost like unfair rewards, I guess, as in you had to deal with something that wasn't your fault and stuff like that. So it almost feels like a bit of an apology of, well, not so much an apology, because I feel like this person was quite egotistical and they wouldn't be the kind to be like, I'm sorry, but it's more an acknowledgement of what you faced had nothing to do with anything you said or did. Like, it wasn't right for you to have dealt with the stuff that I threw your way. Because the Emperor it's Aries energy, right? It is fiery, it is angry, it is the kind of energy that goes for war. Now, in its light aspect, that is a righteous war. And perhaps this person felt like while they were here, the stuff that they did was right. They wouldn't see themselves as doing something wrong. They wouldn't admit in their human form that what they were doing was not okay. But now on the other side, they're starting to recognize that what you had to go through, it's coming in a very passive voice, which I feel like would be uncharacteristic for this person. Where it's like, instead of saying, well, what I put you through was wrong, it's coming through as, well, what you went through was wrong. And what you felt, you shouldn't have had to feel. Like, it's not so much taking responsibility, it's more acknowledging that you went through something hurtful and acknowledging that they were part of that, but never conflating the two, never saying it was my fault and I apologize. Like, it's a very egotistical energy for sure. And I feel like their higher self, this ancestor in their form as a spirit, they identify that you were in pain as a result of their actions. But I also feel like the way that they're coming through right now isn't their most evolved self. It feels like the version of them that's coming through with a message is someone who is almost like still tied to their earthly presence. It's like, I keep thinking of purgatory. Now, I'm not someone who believes in that kind of thing, but perhaps you are, perhaps they are, and perhaps it's a real thing. But you know how purgatory is supposed to be a place where the soul is kind of in limbo. It's neither in heaven nor in hell, and it's certainly not on earth. And it's like they feel stuck, and they feel like they cannot move forward. And perhaps that's because they haven't processed the messages that they were supposed to learn in this lifetime. And their soul is currently working through it. Well, I say currently, but time is not linear, but you know what I mean. That's the version of them that's coming in today. Interesting. Next, we have Temperance in reverse. Again, lots of major arcana. Clarified by the Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah. This feels like an explanation. Their life was very unbalanced, and because of that, they were not able to be expressive with their emotions. Now, temperance is about a dynamic balance, about things are happening all at once, but I understand that if I just keep going with the flow, I keep changing up how I see the world, I keep moving and shifting along with the rhythm of life, then I will be in balance at all times. However, this feels like such a stubborn person that... lots of fire energy as well. Sorry, I just got sidetracked. But this feels like the kind of person who was very obstinate, who did not want to change their ways, and they may have been very old school. And with how the world is gradually becoming more progressive, they may have hated that. However, they're starting to realize now, or they may realize now, that it wasn't that they hated progress. It is that they hated looking back at their own life, their own early life, and recognizing how unbalanced their own childhood was, their own pain was. But because of not wanting to recognize that, because it's hurtful to look back to your life, to your early life, and be like, actually, I was wronged in so many ways. That's painful. Instead of doing that, what they did when they were in your life was work from a place of being hurt. It's function from a place of being wounded. And because of that, do you see how like these cups are both in reverse? Well, all three of these cups are in reverse. It's like the emotions that they wanted to convey never came out right. And perhaps the only emotion they did know was anger, was frustration. They may not have been able to express anything else at all, because perhaps it would have been too reminiscent of their own wounds from their own early life. And again, it doesn't feel like an apology. And perhaps you're not even looking for an apology. Perhaps you're just looking for an explanation as to why this person treated you the way they did. And as always, tale as old as time, it just goes back to hurt people hurt people. And their spirit is coming here today to acknowledge that, yeah, I mean, you're not crazy for thinking that, you were mistreated. You're not crazy for being upset about it. They are very much acknowledging that, yeah, indeed, it is true that what you went through was not okay. So there is very much an energy of, it's like they want to apologize, but there's like a throat chakra blockage, and it's like they don't have the words for it yet. And perhaps in another lifetime, when they reincarnate, they will learn how to communicate these things. But it was not to be in this lifetime. Okay, next we have the Six of Cups. Oh, okay, and that's clarified by the Four of Cups in reverse. What's interesting is this is number 14 and this is 41. And this is 4 and this is 4. Very interesting. Lots of 1s and 4s. 9s. Lots of mirroring as well. Perhaps the reason they're here today is because you are starting to recognize ways in which you have perhaps mirrored some of their habits in your own life. Where it's like, when you're upset, when you're angry, perhaps you say things that sound like them. And these are things that you've learned from them, that you've picked up early in life and that have stuck with you, and you don't realize that you're echoing their words until now. And the Six of Cups is about a reunion, it could be about ancestors, about people coming back to your life. But that's clarified by the Four of Cups in reverse, which is about recognizing an opportunity. And okay, I just had like a strange thought. But if there's an opportunity that has slipped away from you, or that you feel like slipped away from you recently, they're saying that it will come back, and this time they want you to recognize it and take advantage of it. Because whatever reason that you've kept yourself small, that comes from this person's treatment of you, they are encouraging you to work on it, to move past it, because it does feel like this opportunity that you think passed you by is going to make its rounds back to you. And they want you to understand that not only are you capable of recognizing it this time around, but you're more than capable of like absolutely doing the best job at it. That's so interesting. With the Four of Cups in reverse, it's also telling me that they feel like you saw in them the divine that they were not able to see in themselves. And perhaps that triggered a lot of their wounds and a lot of their destructive behavior. That's obviously not an excuse, and it wasn't your fault for setting them off, although you may have been made to feel like that. you may have heard like, oh, this is your fault. Why are you making me so angry? But they're acknowledging that actually it wasn't you making them angry. It was you offering them kindness and affection set off alarm bells in their head, which then led to a defensive reaction. You were a pure thing in their life, and because they didn't know what to do with it, because they didn't know how to respond to it, it feels like they lost the opportunity for beautiful love and kindness. They lost the opportunity to evolve as a soul. Like this lineup of these bears is what's getting me right now, because there's just something about this bear being so jaded and perhaps having some wounds as well. Like, do you see these marks on his fur? And then those becoming scratches up here. And then this baby here is just pure and untouched by the world. And it feels like the cycle of trauma that gets passed down, where, you know, because of these wounds here, these scars are caused. And then because of this, oftentimes the baby would be injured as well. But it's like they want you to understand that you need to consciously work towards not passing these wounds further on. Perhaps you have children of your own, or you're considering having children, and perhaps this is a worry that's come up recently, where you're like, what if I unintentionally hurt the young people in my life the way I was hurt by this person? And so they want you to actively work towards healing that aspect so that you don't unintentionally pass it on. But they also want to acknowledge that they weren't, I don't know if this necessarily has to do with the cards, but they want to acknowledge that they weren't completely unaware of how they acted. A lot of it they may have willfully done, which is harrowing, because why would anyone choose to act like that towards someone they're supposed to take care of? But to them, it felt like an emotional release, and they'd been desperate for emotional releases their whole life, and you felt like an easy target, which is so messed up. I'm so sorry, Palwan. Like, this is rough, but it's coming through, and if it's coming through, it's probably something you need to hear. But they want you to understand that you can't keep giving them the benefit of the doubt over and over again, because it's only delaying your own healing. Acknowledging that some of their behavior may have been a choice will then allow you to see them for who they are, which is a flawed human being, or who they were rather, which is a flawed human being who made bad choices. We all do. Obviously, some bad choices are worse than others, but it's almost like they think you put them on a pedestal of some sort, and that keeps you from healing as well as you can. So they definitely want you to step away from that moment of like seeing them as this simultaneously this grandiose figure and this unaware childlike person who just, they were hurtful but they didn't know what they were doing. Like, that's not true at all. They want you to see the human aspect of them that chose to hurt you when they could have chosen separately, because that might help you detach from constantly giving them the benefit of the doubt. Oof, I did not expect these to be this heavy. Finally, we have the Ten of Swords, yeah. And that's clarified by the Ten of Swords in reverse. That's wild. These are two very different decks, and they've been shuffled multiple times. There's no way this is a coincidence, you guys. But the Ten of Swords is the end of a painful cycle, and endings are very, very, very painful. But with the swords especially, it's not just the end of something truly painful. It is also an ending that involves changing the way you think, because swords are a mental suit. It's all about your mind. It's about how you think. And with the Ten of Swords here, it's all about shifting how you perceive the world around you. And it's a very graphic image and very upsetting, but this is it's like a young deer. Like, yeah, it has its spots. It's a baby. And those 10 swords are like so callously, like, it's a sad image when this fawn should be protected. It's been attacked. But this is them telling you it's time to end this cycle once and for all, and to do that in any way you see fit. To them, this cycle is not over yet. They're going to have to reincarnate and work through this karmic back and forth, perhaps for multiple lifetimes. But for them, they can't end the cycle yet because they haven't faced every aspect of it. They haven't learned everything there is to learn, and perhaps that's why you feel a sort of a sort of attachment, a sort of not wanting to let go, is because they can't let go, but they are coming in to tell you this is not your responsibility. It is their lessons. It is their karmic retribution. It is their cycle that they have to go through until they grow through it. For you, what they want is freedom from all of this. They understand that you were in pain, but what they really don't want is for you to continue to stay in that moment, because you still have love for them, because you still have respect for them. They want you to, they want you to disrespect them because you may be too afraid to. They want you to understand that they won't curse you for talking ill of the dead. That's not a thing. But just because someone is not on this earth anymore doesn't mean they get a free pass to have been evil but still have nice things said about them. So if that's a thought pattern you carry, it's time to change that. They for sure want you to work past this. It's going to be hard work, but they want you to make the effort, because you deserve to be free from everything that this put you through, that this person, this cycle put you through. You deserve the freedom to start a new cycle. And that's what tens are about, is that ending that has a seed of a new beginning in it. So if you're seeking therapy, if you're seeking counseling and stuff like that, it is very, very, very worth it. And you are being highly encouraged to go, because it will bring you the healing that you so deserve. So finally, pile one, let's take a look at their advice for you moving forward. I've got 2 tarot cards and 2 animal spirit cards. We'll get to that. But, okay, they just flipped over. We have the moon in reverse, and we have the world also in reverse. The moon in reverse is about clarity. The world in reverse is about not letting a cycle end, a cycle not ending. And their advice to you right now is to focus on gaining clarity. Why is it that this cycle is not ending for you? Why is it that you feel bound to them? You feel so tied down by how they treated you in the past? Your only job right now is to process all of this. It's like for the foreseeable future, all you are meant to do is heal. That's it. That's your only job. That's the only expectation or request that they have for you, is for you to work through this and to heal, so that one, you're not passing it on to future generations, but two, you might find success and happiness in this lifetime, because it seems like the only thing holding you back is this fear, is this guilt, is this pain that you carry from such a young age that translates into every single thing you do with your life. So they very much want you to look forward. And that doesn't mean ignoring the past, but it means processing it, working through it, working past it, so that who you become is not limited by what this person did to you. And that is not going to be easy, but it is going to be so worth it. And like with all these major arcanas here, like this is the journey of a lifetime for you, part one. And it might quite literally be that. It might take you the rest of this lifetime to work through this, but that's okay. It is worth it. As you heal, as you grow past what this person did to you, you will discover aspects of yourself that you didn't even know existed, that you didn't even know could bloom. It's like shedding off a coat to reveal like a glittery costume underneath. That's the moment that they want for you. And finally, we have the armadillo spirit in reverse, set healthy boundaries. And the scarab beetle spirit, also in reverse, magic works through you. Okay, let's read these from the book because they're both in reverse. So with the armadillo spirit, this is number 3. This is a tricky time, as you may find yourself enmeshed with others, overly concerned with how they will take it if you say no or express how you really feel. Armadillo Spirit asks you to be honest with yourself and others, no matter how difficult that may be or how much you may fear losing someone or something. Face your fear, tell the truth, and set your boundaries. Another message of protection from Armadillo Spirit is to relax. Live and let live. If you or someone else is being defensive, you are called to step back and trust in Spirit's plan. So it could very well be that as you do this healing, you may have to step away from other relationships, perhaps people who enabled this person or people who saw how toxic this person was but ignored it, turned a blind eye to your suffering. You might find that those are relationships that you have to set boundaries with or walk away from altogether. And this soul, this ancestor, is very much encouraging that because sometimes the only way to end a cycle is to leave everyone that was involved in propagating that cycle in the past and moving forward with the people that would pour into you, would consciously aid your healing rather than taking you 10 steps back. And then with the scarab beetle spirit, do you doubt your unique inner magic? Are you afraid that you have no originality or that creative juices don't flow through you? Perhaps you mistakenly believe you are not the creative manifesting type. Scarab Beetle Spirit's message is that creativity is a living force that comes through all of us from Spirit, who wants every person on the planet to manifest magic and co-create the world anew. Creativity and magic are your legacy as an expression of the Creator, so let them flow through you. One other thing this person may have heavily discouraged for you may have been some sort of creative pursuit. And so they want you to put that aside and recognize that that behavior was very much them expressing a disappointment in being unable to follow their own creative pursuits, and so they put that on you as well. So if there is a creative career that you're looking at, a skill of some sort, or just a way of living that is more creative than how this person lived, they are heavily encouraging you to pursue it. And through that, perhaps you find healing. So that could be something that happens for you as well. But Pile 1, that is all I'm seeing for you today. So that's your reading. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your energy with me and allowing me to go through something so vulnerable that to read something so vulnerable that you've been through. I hope it's brought you some clarity and support. I truly do. And if it has, of course, please remember to like and subscribe. Feel free to comment below who this person was, what happened, if you'd like to share. If not, that's cool. But yeah, I always love hearing about how these readings work for you guys. So let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and sharing your time and energy with me and letting me do this reading for you. I hope it helped. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pile number 2. Hello. So if you guys chose the Opalite Moon, then this is your reading all about an ancestor who wants to come through. Now, as you guys know, I like to take notes of something, of anything that happens when I shuffle. And with your cards, they were very, very chaotic, and they also kept coming out in twos. Like, you guys got a double archetype cards, which is not something that other groups got. And also just like the clarifiers and everything, they kept coming out in twos. So I don't know, maybe it's twins that are coming through, but just the energy felt quite chaotic, but not in a negative way, but more in like this is just the kind of person this person was. So I'm going to try my best to ground while I read this. But okay, so let me explain the cards well. These cards here will tell us who this person or people is/are. These cards here will give us the messages that they have for you. And then with these cards here, we'll take a look at some advice that they might have for you moving forward. All right, I'm going to keep it short and sweet with the intro. Let's dive in. So who is this person? We have the Magician in reverse. And that's clarified by the Ace of Wands. And we have 2 archetype cards for you. The first one is the Flame. Interesting. And the second one is the Mystic. Okay. So this is a very creative person. And this is a very dramatic, theatrical soul. This person may have been quite artistic while they were on this planet, while they were in your life, but also very spiritual. With the Magician in reverse, though, like this feels like someone who perhaps was spacey a lot, who wasn't very grounded in the physical world. Like, they may not have been the most practical person. They may have had these grand ideas, but no idea how to make it happen. So they were in their head a lot, is what I'm trying to get at. Lots of fire energy here. So they could have had heavy fire placements in their chart, or just a very vivacious, um, personality, a very loud, funny, eager, active type of person. And I'm getting like a kooky grandma vibe. The kind of grandma on Disney Channel who has like an art studio. I don't know why I said Disney Channel. Maybe there's a Disney Channel show that you remember with a character like this. I've never seen this, but or like in Princess Diaries, Mia's mum. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Like someone very artistic, very creative, not the most practical, but quite dramatic. Very, very, very creative though. I'm gonna read the flame from the book. The mystic is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. The flame is card 51. Okay, it's the first of the tools. The flame. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. I mean, yeah. Health, mental clarity, good digestion, excess heat and anger, complete darkness. I don't think this was a very angry person. Let me just go through the mystic anyway, since it was brought up. The mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or light-hearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. This is the work of the mystic. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. Remover of darkness, visionary, ageless, expects results, seeks attention and recognition. Yeah, this is very much someone who was not of this earth, was not in this realm. They were very much someone who lived in their own world, and their job was to bring their visions into reality, and that may also have been their biggest challenge. But I very much feel creative vibes coming around here. So let's see what is their message for you, if you guys know who this is, that is. We have the Hierophant, beautiful. And that's clarified by the King of Pentacles. That's interesting because these are both Taurus cards. These are earth energy. This is abundance, luxury, but also grounding, being practical. Why though? Let's actually get let's shuffle a clarifier here, which I haven't done. Okay, we have the Page of Swords in reverse and Temperance in reverse. Okay. What is their message for you? Back of the deck is the Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay. I think they want to pass on a lesson to you guys. What's interesting is the Hierophant is depicted as an elephant here, and elephants are known for being matrilineal. So this could very well be a grandmother or a mother, a great-grandmother, someone like this, who had a lot of wisdom, but perhaps walked alone a lot, as in, or at least for as long as they were in your life, they weren't necessarily married or attached to someone or in a relationship of any kind. They were very much their own person and very flamboyant, very unafraid of anyone and anything. But with the Hierophant here and the King of Wands, and the clarifiers being the Page of Swords in reverse and Temperance in reverse, this is very much them trying to pass on a message of not... Okay, let me just... I can't find the words, you guys. Of not underestimating the importance of being practical. You might be someone who looks back on your life and you're like, well, why didn't I take more risks? Why didn't I do more spontaneous things? And their soul is coming in today to explain to you that their way of life is not the only way of life. You might look up to them a lot every time they are brought up. You might be like, oh, they had such a great life. I wish I was more like them. I wish I had, made different choices so I could have been free like they were. However, they are also acknowledging that there was a flip side to it of, not really knowing how things were going to pan out, not having that security, not having balance in their life, of having so much chaos. Okay, so they had so much going on that they had no idea who they were or what they were doing. And although that wasn't their purpose was simply to be here and to enjoy and to see grand visions and share those grand visions with the world. There was also an underlying insecurity of, where is my next meal going to come from? Am I ever going to put down roots? Am I ever going to settle down? Am I ever going to find peace? Am I going to find ease in life? They may have struggled for a lot of their life to afford a basic living. However, they were tied to their craft. They were tied to their creative venture. And while you may have seen the beautiful side of it, where they got to, explore the world and experience things so deeply and translate it into art, what you didn't see was how they wished they had put down roots, that they had worked towards more practical abundance, towards more of a home and a hearth, and a little bit more of like a traditional life. And it almost feels like you would never expect them to say something like this, because they lived so authentically and so vivaciously. But I guess like as their highest self now, they're able to see that although it was an exciting life, an enjoyable life, it was also a very unbalanced life. And so it's like they want to pass on some wisdom in the form of, don't underestimate the value of putting down roots, of making practical choices, of having a grounded view of the world. It doesn't mean you've let life pass you by. It just means that you've had different priorities than they did. Interesting. I did not expect this message to come out from like this type of person. I'm just going to put those clarifiers to the side. Next, we have the Five of Swords. And that's clarified by, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, I think, how to, are you going through like an inner conflict of some sort where you're like, I don't know if it was worth spending all my life doing what I did, and I wish I had gone out and explored more. They want to remind you that the conflict in your mind with this Five of Swords, it's a mental conflict. The conflict isn't from all the things that you didn't get to do, but it's more that you didn't really invest yourself emotionally in anything. So you may have had a stable job, you may have You may currently have a stable job, a stable life, and all of that, but are there things in your life right now that you are deeply emotionally invested in, mentally invested in? Do you have hobbies that keep you fulfilled? Do you have interests and passions that give you that emotional fulfillment that can only really come from exploring yourself? They want you to invest in yourself, and not just in terms of, oh, booking a spa day and going out and buying yourself nice things. No, invest in your growth and development as an individual. Invest in exploring who you are. It could be something as simple as investing in a journal with like prompts that help you write things down or explore different ways of thinking, or investing in self-help books, investing in a new craft, in learning a new skill, in learning a new language. Anything to bring a bit of newness into your life that will unlock parts of your brain that you've not used before. Because like, with the imagery here, I love these cards because of the imagery. It's like, you see how the snake is all tangled up with all these swords, but it's almost like this lightning strike coming from above. When it hits the snake is when suddenly everything is untangled. Suddenly everything smooths out. And it feels like this ancestor is coming in to encourage you to almost manufacture that lightning strike for yourself, so that you may untangle, detangle, and start to see facets of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Interesting. Okay, next we have the Four of Wands. Oh. And that's clarified by the Seven of Cups. Okay. Okay. It seems, Paltu, that you have been comparing yourself to other people a lot. And they are just one of many people that you may have compared yourself to. Where it's like you see everyone living all these different lives that you almost put yourself in their shoes with, the joy that they are feeling. And say, okay, for instance, say you are very single and you go on Facebook and someone you used to go to school with has just put up pictures of their wedding. And suddenly you're like, ooh, I wish I was them. I wish I had made choices that would have put me in that position where I would have, had a partner by now. Or you hear about someone getting a promotion and you're like, oh my God, why can't I ever make that much money? Or why can't I ever progress in my career like this? And it's like, this ancestor wants you to understand that you are seeing part of the picture. What you don't see is all the heartache that's gone into that person being who they are, all the work that's gone into it, how long they had to wait to get theirs. And, because the Seven of Cups is a card of illusion and the Four of Wands is a card of celebration. And so it's almost like you're drawn in by the illusion of everyone else's success, such that you almost, it's like you're comparing their highlight reel to your down in the dumps, right? It's two very different paradigms. Like, if you saw what these people were like on a rough day, you might find that your life is worth celebrating just as much as theirs is, because it's always about balance. And they want you to stop. Well, first of all, they want you to stop comparing yourself to other people, because it's unhealthy. But also, the other thing is, with this magician in reverse as well, it's like you're almost blocking your blessings by having a negative reaction to other people receiving them. So if, say, you want a luxury car and someone close to you ends up getting that exact car or just a new car in general, if your response is to be upset about it, is to be angry, the universe is going to respond to that emotion, not the why behind it. So imagine if the universe is like, oh, you want a luxury car? Look, here's a luxury car. What do you think of this? It's not yours. It is someone else's, but what do you think? And you're like, oh, I hate that they have it. It makes me so upset. The universe is like, oh, let's not do that then. Let's take that away from you. Clearly this car upsets you. The universe isn't looking at the context of, the car doesn't upset you, someone else having it does. But that's not how it works, right? So it's like a little, a lot of people see this as the universe testing you, but think of it more as the universe offering you a test drive. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to. The pun was right there. But it's more like the universe offering you a moment of confirmation to see how you will react to this thing being in your world, right? So when you see someone having something that you wish you had, if your first reaction is negative, the universe is going to make sure you never get it, because why would the universe want to see you upset? So there is definitely a message here from this ancestor to remind you to decide how you want to respond to something emotionally before you actually allow yourself to feel the emotion. Like, that's not to say you should, not feel your feelings, but more, you probably shouldn't let yourself wallow in it if it's going to be counterproductive to the outcome that you want. There's a lot of advice coming through from this ancestor. They might very well be a spirit guide in like your spirit team, how to. Very interesting. And then finally we have the Fool in reverse. And that is clarified by the Two of Wands. Yeah. They want to remind you that this is not your first rodeo. You may be a fairly evolved soul. You may have had multiple lifetimes here on Earth. And so there's almost like a reminder here that you know who you are. And, I have to sneeze. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, okay. You know who you are, Paltu, and you know what you bring to the table. However, what's blocking your blessings is you're refusing to trust that the universe has your back. You're refusing to let yourself go on a journey. Yeah. It's like the Two of Wands is usually about looking at the past and the future and making a choice based off of that. But it's also almost a card of there being a distance between you and what you want. And it very much feels like you're trying to manifest change. You're trying to manifest something new, a better outcome, a better life. But what's keeping you from it is all the negative self-talk, for one, but also a fear of taking the leap. And for as long as you feel like everything could go wrong, there will always be a distance between who you are and who you want to be. Your ancestor wants you to remember who you are, not just in this life, but on a cosmic level, to remember who you are. You may, it might be worth investing in some like past life regression therapy or like an Akashic Records reading or something like this. because it will really help you come to terms with just how grand you are, just how big, multidimensional, ancient your soul is, how many times you've done this already. That might help alleviate some of that anxiety. But if you want something to change, you have to be willing to create that change, to allow that change to happen. And you can't expect things to change while holding on so desperately to your current situation out of fear. Because, okay, this is a bit of tough love, but it's like they're saying, if you don't want to let go of the past, maybe you just don't want the future. Maybe you're just happy being in a state of self-pity where you get to, moan about other people having what you want while also not taking the action that's necessary in order for you to get what they have. Oh, that was harsh. That wasn't me. It was your ancestor. Take it up with them. I'm just a channel. But yeah, it's like they're almost scolding you for not taking action yet. And action in this case mostly just seems to be working on self-discovery, working on finding out what you actually want. It's like you will watch other people discover who they are, and you will busy yourself with stuff that doesn't matter, and then you'll wonder why there's a disconnect between those two things. They very much want you to invest in not improving yourself, exploring yourself. And that's the key here. It's not about changing who you are. It's about learning who you actually are. Okay. So finally, let's take a look at some advice from this ancestor. So we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay. And that's clarified by the Tower in reverse. Yeah, okay. So this is a very clear message that you're in control. The universe doesn't decide to just bless you with a grand transformation. The universe won't just pull the rug out from under your feet and force you on a new journey, because that's not your lot in this life. At least not anymore. It may have been in the past, but moving forward, it's not. The universe is not gonna force you into transformation. You have to take the step that you need to take. And so their advice for you is to not wait on divine intervention or, some signal from the angels or what have you. Their advice is for you to choose. It's almost like they didn't get that choice when they were on this planet. It's like they were born devoted to their craft, to their art, to their vision, to their passion. They had no choice. You do. You have the ability to decide whether you want to indulge certain behaviors or not. And so they are begging you to exercise your free will in this lifetime and do the thing. Just do it. Just do it. Because they really do want you to go out and live your best life, but do it on your own terms, the way they never got to. Even though it feels it feels to you like they always lived on their own terms, to them, it was almost the trappings of their own mind. Like they could not escape that life that was driven by whim. They couldn't escape it if they tried. So in many ways, they felt trapped, but you don't have to. And if you feel like you've created a life that has trapped you, you have the choice to walk away from it, to make things different, but don't just do it because you want to get away from this. Do it from a place of choosing yourself. Ooh, okay. That was powerful. Then finally, with the animal spirit cards, we have dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. Yes. And crow spirit, co-create with spirit. Yeah. Okay. With dog spirit, be loyal to what you love. This is about you finding what you actually love, because you may so far have lived a life where love just did not have a place. And I don't just mean in terms of relationships, but I mean in terms of falling in love with the universe, falling in love with yourself, falling in love with what makes you happy. That may just not have been a thing you considered. And this ancestor very much wants you to go about doing just that. But also with co-create with spirit, it's like spirit has your back. You know, you're not doing it alone. You don't ever have to do it alone. The ancestors will show up for you. Spirit will show up for you. All you have to do is decide what you want. That is it. That is the only expectation there is. And it's not even really an expectation. It is just something you might want to do if you want your life to change. All you have to do is put an intention out there, and it's like the universe will conspire on your behalf to make it happen. That's all they need from you. Okay, so that's your reading for today, pile 2. Very interesting. Let me know in the comments who this person is, because they sound like someone I would love to meet. But yeah, how did this resonate? Did you enjoy it? Was it helpful? Let me know in the comments. If this video did help you, then please remember to like and subscribe, do all that cool stuff. It really, really helps the channel out so much. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and spending your time and energy with me and letting me do this reading for you. I truly hope it helped. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pile number 3, hello. So if you guys picked the amethyst crystal, then this is your reading. I'm just going to move this guy over here. Today we're taking a look at a message from an ancestor who has something to say to you. And boy, oh boy, when I was shuffling your cards, this was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful shuffle. The cards came out in the exact right numbers and the exact right places. So I feel like this is an ancestor you're often communicating with. And I just feel very happy. And this is someone who maybe in life did not mince words or did not mess around. They told you exactly what was on their mind, but in a kind way. So I'm really excited to dive in. So the way I've shuffled these cards is these cards here will tell us who this person is. And if that resonates for you as someone you recognize, then here we'll look at what their message is with these cards. And then finally with these cards over here, we'll look at some advice that they have for you. It's going to be a longer reading than you think. So let's dive in. Who is this ancestor who wants to come in today? We have the King of Cups in reverse. Okay. And that's clarified by the 6 of Coins. Okay. And the archetype card is the Hunter. Okay. Interesting. I was right when I said this is someone who did not mince words at all. And it may have in many ways or at some times been to the detriment of a lot of their relationships. With the King of Cups, there's a sort of emotional immaturity there. However, with the 6 of Coins clarifying that, it's like it was never from a bad place. Like everything they ever said was from a place of kindness. However, they just maybe didn't have the most sophisticated words for expression. They may not have been the most emotionally mature person around. They may have had a very childlike quality. However, they were never unkind. It never came from a place of selfishness or being hurtful intentionally. Yeah, I feel like this person talked a lot. They may have taught you a lot or just spent a lot of time just talking to you. And there's a very childlike presence here. Now, if this is a child that was lost, like, I don't even know what to say. It's the worst pain ever. So in that case, I am so sorry. But with that could be a very, very small minority of you, because for the most part, with this king here and this old lady in this image, it feels like this was very much more like a grandparent figure, but the kind who would just tell you everything, who would just talk for hours on end. They probably told you lots of stories. Like, it's very much a wholesome energy, but perhaps from someone who wasn't the most emotionally clued on. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't someone who went to therapy a lot or read about psychology or anything. But they were never intentionally hurtful. Let's look at the hunter from the book. This is card number 9 from the archetypes, the wild unknown archetypes. The hunter, the seeker, the pursuer, the predator. The hunter hunts. They are on a precise mission with an aim. To return empty-handed would be to fail, which is not an option in the hunter's eye. This archetype will journey far and wide, seeking the prize that calls to its heart. Tales of bravery and feats of strength often result, creating a life full of adventure. Focused, energized, respectful, seasoned, irresponsible, violates, violent, poaching. Yeah, this is the person who told you stories of how when they were little and they had to go to school, they had to do it by foot, cross a mountain, swim through a lake, fight a dragon every morning at 8 a.m. before they got to class. Like, that's the kind of person this is. They probably told you lots and lots of stories about when they were young and, all the things they did and all the places they went and all the dreams and wishes they have for you and how they want you to go back and visit this place with them or like take them here, take them there. Like, this is very much, this is very much a grandparent figure or like an older parent figure who maybe you lost after having them for many, many years in your life. Because there's a deep familiarity, a very deep sense of joy here. It's making me think of that moment in that movie Coco, towards the end, where after the whole thing is over and it's like 1 year later and it's like these people all gathering for Dia de Muertos and then the ancestors coming in spirit to celebrate with them as well. Like, it's giving me that kind of feeling. Like, there's a familiar love here. So if that resonates, here is their message for you. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and that's clarified by the Queen of Cups. Okay. The first message for you is learning to embrace change. You may find that your life is changing a lot right now, that there's a lot going on where it's good change. It is, you're moving up in the world, right? However, it is unexpected, and things that are unexpected can sometimes make us feel very afraid. However, with the Queen of Cups here, this is someone who truly understands emotions within herself, but she doesn't necessarily express it, because the Queen is the only card in the Suit of Cups where the cup has a lid on it. So this is the only card where the emotion is kept within, and perhaps to them, like a lesson that they want to pass on to you today, to this ancestor, the lesson they want to pass on to you today is to maybe hold some of your cards closer to your chest, unlike them, who they were probably like a very open book, and perhaps that got them in trouble, and it got them hurt in their own life. And so maybe you don't, I think, since you've lost them, maybe you don't have anyone to share these things with. And they're acknowledging that, but they're also saying maybe that's a good thing for now, because you may not be surrounded by people you can trust entirely. And until you find someone who is just like them energetically, until you find people around you who are just like them energetically, it might be wise to keep your fortune to yourself, to keep your happiness to yourself, rather than sort of word vomiting it on everyone that comes across you. Because maybe they learned hard lessons about how, not everyone is out to help, not everyone wants what's best for you, and they very much want you to stay focused on your goal, stay focused on growing the abundance that's around you, and maybe keeping some of your feelings to yourself, at least for the time being, at least until you're around the right people. But these changes are very much divinely guided. And do you see how there's like a hand coming in from above, like from the universe, almost symbolically? It feels like that's, them reaching out to you. Maybe you'll see them in a dream. Maybe you do see them in dreams. And if so, that's like them confirming, like, hey, yeah, that's not just a dream. That's really us having a conversation in your dreams. But yeah, keep your emotions under wraps, at least for now, because when things are going well for you is when you really see the truth about people. Like, do they celebrate for you, or do they try to bring you down, or do they try to steal a piece of it, So that's just something they want to bring your attention to. We have the Four of Pentacles, and that's clarified by the Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Another thing they want to tell you about is new people entering your life don't need to be spoiled, don't need to be pampered, don't need to be sacrificed for. So when you become successful, you'll suddenly find that a lot of people want to enter your life, and most of the time it's in order to gain something from you, right? And so this ancestor just wants to warn you about, maybe you need to hold on to your wealth a little more tightly in the coming months. Oh, okay, I did not expect to say coming months, but that's what's come out. Because new connections that try to enter your life may not be the most what's the word for it? May not be the best suited for what you want. So, yeah, there's a lot of warnings here, but not in the sense of, things are going to go terribly wrong, but more in the sense of things are going really well, which means you have to start thinking of aspects to success that you may not have considered previously. Where in the past, you probably focused so hard on just making the success happen. Now that it's happening, there's facets to it that you didn't even think about before, that you didn't see coming. Things like people coming in to try and take advantage of you, try and take a piece of that pie, not knowing whom to trust, all of those things. You may really be missing this person right now because they would know what to say in this situation because of their years and years of experience as a human being. But there's no reason you can't reach out to them now. You can always, meditate, ask them to visit you in your dreams, um, ask for guidance and keep an eye out for a message from the universe or just in the world around you. But there is definitely a warning here about be careful whom you let in from this point forward, because not every connection is worth indulging in. It's just something to keep in mind, okay? Next, we have the Sun. Yeah, things are going so well for you. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, by the way. The Sun, and that's clarified by the Magician in reverse. Yeah. There are so many blessings coming your way. There is so much happiness coming your way that you don't even have to work for. You don't even have to put the work in. Like, you've done all that you needed to do. And from this point forward, it is all rewards every single day. It's like the optimism, vitality, success that you are being surrounded by in the near future. It is unlike anything anyone has ever experienced. What's interesting is horses in the sunshine. Isn't that cool? I love that. Another message could be like, if you're worried about how they are doing, this ancestor, how they're doing, they're happy. They're in a field of sunflowers. They're okay. They're being their best unicorn self right now. So don't worry about that. But there's a lot of happiness coming your way. There's a lot of success and just excitement. Things are picking up pace. There is enjoyment. You're about to live the life that you've worked so hard for. You're about to be on top of the world. And you don't even need to worry about trying to sustain it. This happiness is permanent. The Sun is Leo energy, which is fixed fire. There is no changing it. Like, the joy that's coming to you is yours. The abundance that's coming to you is yours. It's not going to be taken away. It is just, you want to be careful about the emotional repercussions of people trying to take advantage of you. It's not like they're going to succeed. It's not like they're going to take stuff from you. But when you're emotionally attached to someone and then find out that they were only in it for selfish reasons, that can be emotionally disheartening, and that can cause you to sometimes lose faith in people. So it's just something to be conscious about. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a warning about, oh, you're going to lose everything if you trust the wrong people. No. Whatever is coming your way is here to stay, even with this Four of Pentacles. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's just that there might be emotional consequences to trusting the wrong people, where you expected them to act a certain way, and then it turns out that they were never the person that they claimed to be. So it's just something to keep an eye out for. But in either case, like, you don't have to work hard to sustain the success that's coming your way, to sustain the abundance coming your way. You don't have to do any work, in fact. It's like you've done everything there was to do, and it was just a matter of time before things started to turn in your favor, and they are now. And so now you sit back and you reap the rewards. Like, do you see how chilled this guy is? I think this is an iguana, or like one of them flame-tailed lizard thingies. He's just sitting back on his coins, holding his coins on top of the world. Like, he's just chill. And that's who you're about to be. You're about to be this unicorn frolicking in all these flowers, because that's all you do anymore is frolic, Yeah. There's a lot of happiness coming your way, you guys. It's very exciting. And we have the Five of Wands. Look at all these puppies. Okay. We have the Five of Wands. Okay. And that's clarified. That's clarified by the Five of Wands in reverse. This is the second time this has happened today, by the way. Like, this happened in a different pile as well, where like two of the same card came out from two different decks, and one was upright and the clarifier was the same card but in reverse. That's insane. Five of Wands is all about people fighting in order to like have more than their share of wants, right? Yeah. And it's like everyone is like, I want a piece of it. I want a piece of it. I want what you have. I want what you have. And so it really just reiterates this idea of like people are going to approach you with the intention of trying to get a piece of the pie. It's like they're not trying to take it away from you. They're just trying to share in something that they didn't work for. And that's not fair. But why is this also in reverse? I'm just going to shuffle out a clarifier. Oh, that was, this is what was happening when I was shuffling. It's like they just kept falling out. Okay, can we clarify why both of these cards are Five of Wands and why it's in reverse? Like, what's going on? We have the Six of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Wands, which is another card of someone trying to fight to maintain their success. And we have the Eight of Wands. Okay, there's a lot of movement going on around you, Pal 3. And okay. I get what's going on. As you gain this amount of success, right? You're going to start to realize that there's actually a lot of stuff going on around you that you may previously have not been aware of. And you're going to want to try and fix it, but you're being told not to. You're being told not to engage in this. So, okay, say for instance, once you become successful, suddenly long lost family members are coming to you with, things like, oh, this person owes me money and, I haven't got this. And there was this huge problem and all of this. And you were unaware of this. But now that you have a modicum of power, people think that they can expect you to fix their problems. And you are very much being called to just run far away from it with this Eight of Wands. Like, get out. This is nothing to do with you. Do not engage, because these people are caught in petty arguments and this is not your place. Like, you don't belong in this conflict. It has nothing to do with you. As fast as you can, excuse yourself from the situation when it comes up, okay? But it's just people being people, and they're just trying to use your influence in order to get their way. So it's not your place, it's not your job to fix people's problems for them, so don't. Wow, this has been full of advice from this person. Like, Pal 3, was this someone who gave you a lot of like sage advice that you went to with a lot of your problems and they were like able to fix it? Because that's the kind of person I'm hearing from. So with that said, what is their advice for you? I mean, what is some more advice from them for you? We have the King of Swords. And that's clarified by the Five of Cups in reverse. Okay. This feels like them essentially tying up this reading by saying, look, all of this is a warning, yes, but don't let it scare you. You are smart enough to recognize who is coming to you with pure intentions and who isn't. You are smart enough. You're able to recognize real love, but you might fear that you won't be able to. You might fear that you're out of your depth a little bit. And this ancestor just wants to remind you that you are way smarter than you give yourself credit for. You are way more clued in than you give yourself credit for. And whatever happens, the stuff that's meant for you will not pass you by. And the stuff that isn't meant for you will be taken away from you. Like, you are so blessed and you are so taken care of spiritually, and you have so many powers behind you that protect you from these sorts of things all the time. Like, you cannot lose. However, you need to remind yourself that you are smart, that you are cleverer than anyone trying to get one over on you. Because the only real thing that you fear is not knowing what to do. And perhaps this person who was in your life, perhaps they shielded you from a lot of the drama, a lot of the pain. And now that they're gone, it's like you're seeing the world through a completely different lens. You're seeing things that they never let you see before. And I'm almost hearing like an apology for not preparing you sooner for this world. However, they're also telling you that you are here. You have phoenixed into this person, this King of Swords here. You are a king. Whether you're male or female doesn't matter. You are in your king energy. You are wise, particularly with the sword energy mentally. You are smart with your words. You are smart with your thoughts. You know how to take care of business. And you are to never doubt that. Ever. Because that's the only thing that could really hurt you, is self-doubt. Okay? So they just want you to remember who you are at all times, especially when things are scary, because that's when you need to remember it the most. Okay? Finally, let's take some advice from the Animal Spirit deck. We have the Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. Yes. Of course they do. And we have the Owl Spirit in reverse. You see clearly now. So I will read this one from the book, but before that, Spirit has a plan. Yeah. Obviously, Spirit has a plan because, like I said, there is a lot of like divine guidance in your life, a lot of divine protection. And everything that is unfolding for you now, if you feel like life has gotten chaotic since this person left or since this person was taken away from you, understand that everything is going exactly the way it was supposed to. Them leaving your life was not an accident. It was pre-written, right? Maybe this is someone who believed in destiny a lot, and they want you to understand that nothing here is a fluke. And so if you feel like, oh, they've gone and now suddenly everything is going crazy, no. It's always been like this. It's just that they shielded you from it. And also, moving forward, you are very much taken care of. Spirit has a plan for you, and you're about to see it unfold so beautifully. Okay? And then with the Owl Spirit in reverse, that's card 43. Are you feeling overwhelmed and overpowered by all that you are sensing? Are you highly sensitive right now and in information overload, feeling too much and taking in too much stimulation? The antidote for overwhelm is to become grounded and return to your safe nest so wisdom can offer you clarity and guide you on managing the flow. Go for a walk in nature. Perhaps you can stop to lie on the ground or hug a tree, or just stroll down the street beneath the soothing sky so that you can regroup and clear your energy field. Yeah, I think this is very much telling you, like, overwhelm is natural but unnecessary. You might feel like you don't know what you're doing, but you do. So definitely have faith in yourself. Have faith in your upbringing, in the things that they have taught you, and also very much reach out to them in, spirit. Reach out to them through your meditations, through regressions, through astral travel, or, your whatever spiritual practices you practice. feel free to reach out to this person because they are here for you. They're very much part of your spirit team, I feel like. And whatever is unfolding is very divinely guided, is very much happening for you. Just stay away from the drama. You don't have to do anything for anyone that doesn't deserve it. Okay, so that's your message for today, pile number 3. Very interesting. And also congratulations with everything that's unfolding for you, because clearly you've worked so hard for it. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time and energy with me. I truly hope this has resonated and it's brought you some clarity. Let me know in the comments below how this reading has resonated for you, because I'm always curious. Let me know who this person is, because they sound really cool. But yeah, thanks so much. If you've enjoyed this reading, please remember to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.